Hey everyone, it's Diane. End of April here, 2020, and I'm going to be testing some germination on some LilliPut zinnias. Now, I've grown these before and I like them. They're beautiful, but I noticed they get a little powdery mildew on the leaves. Might have had a little too much shade in the afternoon. So this year they're going to be put in more sun, and then we're going to see how they do. So I want to test for germination, so I just put a paper towel down in this tray, and look, I got rows already, right? But doesn't that make nice little rows? These seeds are a few years old. I'm not even sure. They might be 3 years old. You see all the seeds in there, right? Water it down. Okay, now I'm just going to put them on you can either put them in a warm location or a heating mat, whatever you have. And I'm actually might just put a lid on them. The zinnias like darkness for germination. So what I'm going to do is put another tray over them like this. And we'll watch them and see how they do in a couple days. And I'll keep you posted. Okay, I'll put the lid on it. They're good and moist. Now, one time I put these on the seed germination heating mat, and if you don't catch them in time, they'll dry out, the paper towel and all. So I think it's fairly warm enough in this room. I am just going to let them germinate right here just to see how they do. If, like I said, if you got a warm location, do that. But I know that paper towel does and can dry out if, like I had them on the mat and it didn't, that just wanted to let you know on that. So we'll see you soon. Alright, let's get an update on the LilliPut zinnias that I am paper towel and germination on them. We planted these April 29th. Today's May 2nd. Let's see how they're doing. Check it out. Looks like we got some germination. I'm going to give them more time. They're not all germinating. I'm sure some of these seeds aren't good. See how they're getting going right here. This is just room temperature down here. They probably would have did better. They would have germinated faster if I had a little warmth, but I'm not in any hurry. A good way to know your germination before you plant them. Why waste your time, right? Especially on older seed. So there's not a whole lot germinating, but we're starting to get some. April 4th update on the zinnias that we planted on the paper towel. As you can see, they're coming along pretty nicely, aren't they? Alright, so it's time to plant some of these paper towel method zinnias that have germinated. So come in close and let's get started. Some already popped the seed off the top of the flower. As you can see, look at this one here. I'm going to be just planting the ones that are going to be easy to plant right now because they really start stretching, and I need to get them in some soil and get them so they stop stretching and get them under some really good lighting. So you can watch me as I do this. So I'm just going to be carefully, this is how I do it. Now, sure, there's different methods, right? There always is. I'm just going to take and make a nice indentation here so I don't hurt the roots. I'm going to put it down as far as I can, and there it is. So I wanted to give you a little information that I thought is pretty interesting on the zinnias. They're a good companion plant for vegetables, and for sure they deserve a place in the garden. Zinnias deter cucumber beetles and tomato worms. I didn't know that, actually. So that's a good little tip for you. I always do try to plant some in the gardens, and maybe that has helped all this time. See, I find it really fun just to plant like this, and for good reason. You can actually see what's going on and see how these plants do develop. They're a little delicate at this stage because I don't want to bust that root. I just carefully put them in there. So simple. I know there's so many easier ways to do this, but I wanted to show you how fun it is to check the germination. And zinnias are a must-have for your butterfly garden, and it's a favorite flower of monarchs, swallowtails, and those hyper-winged hummingbirds. Not all zinnias attract butterflies. Dwarf varieties usually attract less, and I imagine it's because they are shorter. I have grown the Profusion series. They're only 12 inches, and the painted lady butterfly loves them. You know, zinnias like full sun. They'll take a lot of heat, and if you get them in too much shade, or if you get a wet situation, you're going to have, sometimes you have mildew problems, and you've probably encountered that before. Well, I only did a 6-pack. I'm going to let these get bigger, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I've done, because this is going to be a lot easier for anyone to plant, letting these get a little bit bigger, and so you can see the plant a little better. Okay, so we'll be back in a couple days. Here's an update, May 9th, on the LilliPut zinnias that I'm doing the paper towel method with. Looks like they're coming along pretty nice. I have just a few more to plant. The germination, there's quite a few that didn't germinate. So I'm okay with it because I have all these. Plus I got other zinnias, and these are looking pretty good, aren't they? May 18th update on the LilliPut zinnias. They're doing okay. They're not doing bad at all here indoors. I'm going to let these in here for another week at least. Then I'll probably put them out in the greenhouse. But it's been cold here, so there's no hurry in planting these outdoors. But they're coming along pretty good, aren't they? But stay tuned also, as I will be planting these outside. Hi everyone, hey, it's Diane. Today we're going to be planting some LilliPut zinnias, and I'm just going to be planting them throughout the garden in different areas where I can fill in my spaces. And it will be amazing to see come summer, and I hope I can bring you along with me to show you how the flowers are doing. Even though it's a sunny day today, I feel the plants are going to be hardy enough to thrive because they've been out in my greenhouse for over a week or two, and I think they're going to be ready to be planted in the garden. So it would be better to do it on a cloudy day, but where there's no clouds in sight, and I want to get these in the garden. So come along with me as we plant in the garden. Make sure and find a nice sunny area to plant your zinnias. You can plant them around a foot or so apart, depending on what you want to do and how much room you have. I usually do probably about 10 to 12 inches apart because they do spread out. If your zinnias have become leggy, go ahead and bury the stem as far as up to the first part of the leaves sections that are growing. This will help them from getting busted off. Smaller varieties of zinnias can be planted closer together. Looks like Willow caught something. I have been watering these every day since planting because we've been so dry. You really need to keep an eye on them when you first plant them until their roots get established. So here's another area. I'm just going to put a row of them. It should be really pretty. And it's right between my cardinal vines, but I just had a space here and I thought, well, we'll just fill it in and see how they do. They'll get pretty good sun most of the day. Okay, so the LilliPut zinnias are planted. I planted them in a few areas as you've seen. So now we'll see where they do the best. Basically, they're going to be all in pretty good sun most of the day. So I've grown these before and they had some powdery mildew, so we'll see how they do As far as powdery mildew, it all depends on the weather sometimes. So we got to, it needs sun, it needs airflow, and if it gets those elements, then it will do better. But you know, zinnias, some tend to just get powdery mildew. So we'll see how they do. My very first LilliPut zinnia is blooming. They're doing okay out here, but boy, the bugs are kind of bad this year. During the summer, I plan on doing an update video on all the flowers that you've seen me grow from seed, and I'll be excited to share that with you to let you know how they did here in my garden. So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and we'll see you later. Bye.